the Orange County, and then she has more information about LA, okay? But anyway, you know, to really encourage your principals and your administrators to understand what biotech is and why it's so important, you know, you please feel free to adopt any of the slides that Shahira and I have posted. This one is actually something I wrote up for my biotech industry advisory board. So this is the spiel I give to them. That biotech has lots and lots of applications in real world scenarios, and so you can read some of them, and they probably have heard some of these in the news. But the main bio-life sciences industry is composed of the the big pharma, the medical devices. Orange County is considered one of the huge capitals of the world for medical devices. We have tons of research and development in the entire greater LA region, basically all of California. And we have lots of different scientific tools that have been made, especially during COVID times. You know, people know about why biotech was important, and I have a student who worked on the COVID testing creation of the test. So she's been interviewed, and it's on our FC page anyway. And then, of course, in California, we have food and agricultural biotech, right? You see Davis is one of the biggest biotech centers for agriculture. So obviously, bio-life sciences is super important in our state. And what is the biggest deal, though, is that there's a lot of jobs available, but not many people that have the skill sets. And so there is called a skills gap. And so we are being asked to constantly try to create more and more biotech students or bioscience students for this. So this is actually from a impact report from 2021. This again I said was from a previous last year's advisory board, and just to kind of give you some numbers, you know, you don't have to memorize them, but there's still a lot of people being hired for the biosciences positions in Orange County, and then there's going to be even more in LA. So Shahira can show you those. Okay, and what happens is they generate a lot of income for the county and the state. Okay? So, if you look at what happened during the pandemic, biotech did not lose jobs, right? We continue to maintain. In fact, that was one of the main ones to continue. And so I'm just going to do a really quick, short overview of Orange County. So again, I started I've been teaching here for, oh my gosh, I retired after 33 years, so for a very long time. But in 2007, I started becoming the coordinator for the biotech ABE program, and I was sending out a lot of my students to my husband's biotech company and nearby companies. And so finally in 2015, I created the biotech certificate program at Fullerton College. I recruited other faculty in the local community colleges, and so we became the OC Biotech Educational Partnership. We went after grants, so probably I have $3 million grants for the last 10 years. And a lot of it was really trying to gear up, so I started with like Saturday work days, trying to teach students how to make ABE supplies chain project. And then I did junior high, high school summer camps to get kids interested in science. And then eventually we end up with all this. So in Orange County, you can go to these 4 colleges, and we have the shared curriculum. So we all do the same type of courses, so that you can go to one school for one course and jump over to another course, another school. And so we have 3 certificates. This one's called the lab assistant, and so there's basically 3 to 4 classes that you need to have. And as soon as you get that, you get your first certificate, and that's enough to get into an entry-level biotech job. Okay, washing dishes, making media. Okay, basically that's what we do. And then the next one is called the biomanufacturing technician. So there's a little bit more protein chemistry, the cell processing, and quality compliance. And then the 3rd certificate is called the biotech technicians, where they learn about DNA work and tissue culture. And this is a biggie. Okay, in California, actually globally, they are predicting for the next 20 years that we need people. We need students to know how to do cell culture, tissue culture, right? Immunotherapy is the biggest trend right now, and so we need to have that happen. So in Orange County, we have the tissue culture class. We have a dedicated, I think I spent $250,000 just to create that one tissue culture lab. Santiago Canyon College has another one. Pasadena City College has one. Obviously, the bigger, probably Mission College and Moore Park will have them as well. Okay, but get your students to come just for the tissue culture class. That will be the big deal. Okay. Anyway, if you get all three of these three certificates, basically you have satisfied all the prerequisites to go to Solano College and Maricosta College. And so we have a bunch of students that are now at the bachelor's degree there. And hopefully you guys know that there's 2 more colleges that just came on to offer bachelor's degree in biotechnology. So it's Moore Park and Mission College. Okay, so Mission College is one of our new partners. And the reason I wrote this up is really, Fullerton College is basically, I would say, 75% financially underserved student population. And so my students absolutely have to work while they go to school, right? But I don't want them to work at McDonald's. I want them to be a dishwasher, not at McDonald's, but at a biotech company, because it's a foot in the door, and they get to meet other people who are in the sciences who give them networking abilities, right? And so I constantly am encouraging them to go find internships and jobs. And so we do have students who are able to do that. I have students who, as soon as they get their lab assistantship certificate, they go and get an entry-level job. And then they continue to go on to school, and as they move on, they keep on working. I have one student who was homeless when he first came to me, and I got him to really focus on the biotech. He is now at, he just graduated from Maricosta, but when he was there, he had done so much with me and being an assistant and working in another company, that when he got to Maricosta, he was taking classes Monday through Thursday. They only have morning classes. And then he would go and work a full-time job, so earning $55,000 while he was finishing his bachelor's degree. And so it was like, wow, what a great story, right? He came from being a homeless student to someone who really has a great potential for a fabulous career. He's smart enough to go and get his PhD. And so hopefully there's a thing here to show you. We actually have the articulation agreements now for that as well. Okay. For talking to parents, my kids grew up in Irvine, and it's really highly expected at their high school that if you're any good as a student, you obviously have to go to a UC or a private school, and only if you're a really bad student would you go to community college. And so they were very, very surprised when I kept saying, no, my own kids are going to go to community college, because I believe that they will get a better education there. And in terms of cost, for sure, it's a really easy sell. If you look at the UC tuition, CSU, and the community college, this is the cost of the tuition per year. But since we now offer the bachelor's degree in biotech at a community college, your first 2 years are free, and then the last 2 years are $76 a unit. So really, it's under $10,000, right? And so it's an incredible savings for our students. Just a personal story, both of my girls did go through community college before they transferred to UC Irvine to get their one. Jessica, some of you know, Jessica was our ABE technician. She finished her bachelor's at UCI in biology, and now she's in the UC Riverside PhD microbiology program. And then Natalie, some of you know, because she was also an ABE lab assistant, and she finished at UC Irvine with a chemical engineering degree, and then now she's in bioengineering PhD at Caltech. Yeah, and so our kids really can get very, very good education in community college.
And my daughter too. She went to Santa Monica College, but she was accepted at UC UC Santa Barbara. so she didn't like it. She went there for 1 semester, went to Santa Monica, did almost 2 years or a year and a half there, and now she's going to UCLA.
Great.
Transfer program, so same thing.
Yeah. So if students don't have money and they still want a good quality college education, I do feel that community colleges, of course I'm biased, but I also know that the full professor is teaching your lab class with only 24 students and they get to know you really, really well. I still write letters of recommendations for when the students go on to medical school or PhD or whatever. So, anyway, so.
And these professors know how to teach. We are one of them, the others don't, so most of them don't.
Well, you know, that's what we were hired to do, is to teach, right? So, okay, so anyway, one of the couple of slides I added in is because I always get students that come into my majors classes, because I mainly taught majors, you know, and like I'll do a survey the first day, and how many of you want to go to medical school? And they'll be like, you know, 80%. And then the other 20% want to go to pharmacy school. So it's like, well, okay, but you know, not everyone's going to make it. You know, realistically, I know what my grade distribution is over the years, and but you can keep going towards that goal. But as you go, you can think about, well, do you want to be a lab scientist, or do you want to be a medical clinician who's got that's taking patient care? So you could be an MD and do all of this. Or you could be in biomedical lab work and be doing, you're still helping students. I tell them, you know, if you created or discovered a new therapy to treat cancer, you would be treating 1 million people, right, because of your discovery. Whereas as a doctor, you know, maybe you hit 10,000, 50,000 at the most. So you can actually impact a lot. You can do a lot for society. So anyway, I do have students though that do the biotech route as they're going through college, and they're learning lab skills, they're working, doing research, and then eventually they still go on to medical school. Having a biotech background does not hurt you as you apply to medical school, right? So that's actually really good. Okay, I already mentioned that. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Kristen just left. Oh, you're with the Anaheim district. Okay, so in Anaheim, so Anaheim district and Fullerton are feeder districts, and so we actually have dual enrollment classes at the high schools, and so the students will take college classes for free, and I hope you all know that all high school students can take community colleges classes for free. If they're a high school student, they don't have to pay for anything, including books, including lab books, including like their lab coats. Everything has to be provided for them, either by their high school or by the community college. So that is actually a really good thing. And then we also have tried to take a lot of biotech classes, and we now use the open educational resources, so that's free textbook for everyone. Yeah. And then we just modify when we need to. I wanted to make sure you guys all knew about Solano College and Maricosa College. So they have the 4-year bachelor's degree in biotech manufacturing. And then Mission College and Moore Park College are now the 2 new bachelor's degree that are oncoming. Okay. Mission College, I think Shahira mentioned to you, Dr. Aura Chender is there, and she has created with the partnership in the industry of LA, she has now gotten an exam. It's called, sorry, I forgot this in the BioTC exam. So look up the BioTC exam, or I can send it to everybody. This is a certification that is going to be free to our students. I've been pushing for this forever. It's now in Orange County, so I try to recruit the students to do that. The other exam is called the BASE exam. I have 1 more year left on this NSF grant to pay for the fees for it's $150 per person to take the BASE exam. It's recognized in 24 states right now, so California is one of the newest ones. So anyway, if you have high school biotech program, you teach their skill sets quite a bit. I can show you all the curriculum that you need to have covered. your students can take this certification exam online, and if they get that on their resume, the LA industry recognizes this certification, okay? So my suggestion is work for that.
What level, like along the pathway, would you recommend taking
So
this?
in San Diego, I saw that one of the high schools is doing it after their 3 years of biotech pathway. Yeah, and then for our students, our students are taking it after one semester. So our first certificate, our
So
lab assistant
After
certificate.
like, what would that be, the 190?
190,
So after
190,
both the lab and
191.
lecture, they
Yeah.
can take it?
Well, sorry, 190 lecture and lab,
Yeah.
and then 191
Oh, so after that?
the
Okay,
lab
got it,
skills.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a few things more that you don't quite get, like
Right.
industry
Right.
jargon and whatever, but typically Dr. Rosales and I do free Zoom webinars like 2 weeks before the exam to really get the students to kind of review the thing. Yeah. So yes, please contact me if this is something you're interested in and you haven't heard of it. Please let me know, okay? All right. So are you good? You ready?
Yeah,
Peter?
sure. I'll just compliment.
Oh, okay, sorry. So
Oh,
this
sorry.
is okay. So this is all the dual enrollment school districts that Fullerton College. The Orange County partnerships have been involved with, but in LA we also have lots of colleges as well. And again, the reason I'm trying to promote this is that your students, high school students, can take this for free in the afternoon, evening, sometimes online, and we also have summer classes, right? So these are the 4. Okay, yeah. So then you want to do yours?
Sure, I can switch to LA and
Is the AC on?
Is it what?
The AC?
I don't know. I'm so
because,
high.
yeah, because everybody. I noticed either the AC
I was like, wait, I
hasn't
thought I
been on and I
finished
didn't
it.
notice, and it's getting warmer outside, or it stopped working. I'm not sure which one.
So
All right. So actually, I'll start backwards to complement Dr. Wu's presentation. Oh no, this is not the last. Sorry, but I need to get out of the.
This is not the last.
that's
This is
not
not the one I uploaded. I don't know. I just don't know how to. Oh, I can see now. Okay. How do I work the mouse? Sorry. I wanted to show you a map. Yeah, this is the older one. I uploaded it into the one that you sent me for Fullerton.
So not that you say you mean the PBI?
The one that had all the print, the things I had to print out. Yeah, the Fullerton one, exactly this one here. So because I updated it. Is it there? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So here's the mouse and you go down.
Yeah. I know, that's easy. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So was the AC on or not? I'm just trying. Yeah. So I have a similar map here for LA. Oh, sorry, we're not on the slideshow, right?
Yeah. It's up on the top right.
Yeah. So slideshow. Okay. There we go. So these are the colleges in LA, or the LA, greater LA region, I should say, right? Not just LA County, that offer biotech programs. And as Dr. Wu mentioned, LA Mission College just started offering their bachelor's degree. Moore Park, okay, and we also have Santa Monica that's starting a new biotech program. So I have a list for you here. Santa Monica, LA City, El Camino, Cerritos, these all are starting biotech certificate and degree programs. And Pasadena City College has applied for a biotech bachelor degree. I'm not sure if they started it this fall or not, but they applied. And then on top you see all the other community colleges that have biotech, it's either a biotech degree or a biotech, certificate or a biotech 2-year degree, okay? So that's in the LA area. But I just want to backtrack a little bit and give you just a little bit of an overview of the landscape. I think, as educators doing advanced biotech labs, we need to be a little bit aware of what's happening on the political arena, because that's where all the funding is coming, or a lot of the funding is coming from. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, that at the end of the pandemic, there was an executive order by the Biden administration to support biotech and biomanufacturing. And so there is a lot of funding that went into that. It's a huge initiative. I copied out of the initiative these 3 bullets that apply to us, you know, the work we do and our students. And basically, it all boils down to training a diverse, talented workforce that is skilled and can get hired either in biotechnology or, you know, or in biomanufacturing in particular. And of course, there is a focus on equity and inclusion and diversity, as you can imagine. I won't read numbers at you, but these are the latest numbers from a trade report by Biocom. It's actually the 2023 report that shows you the steady growth of biotech in LA. And this is a big deal for us because how many of us here are from the LA area? Okay, so you probably know that LA was known mostly for Hollywood and real estate, right? You usually didn't put biotech in conjunction with LA. We were always lagging behind in LA, always, right? The biotech hub was really the Bay Area in San Francisco, and this is where Genentech started, and this is where the first biotech product was approved by the FDA, which was human insulin. Then the San Diego area started to grow, and LA was always way behind, right? And so now this landscape is changing a little bit, or changing significantly. And so we have, as you can see, these numbers for job growth and direct employment. And the bottom line is that we have almost doubled the number of companies as San Diego now. And so this is a big change, right? And so this is why all the community colleges have been able to really run a marathon and get funding and get approval to start these biotech degrees. It's very important for us to raise awareness for biotech careers. So I sat in like a 3-hour advisory board meeting on Friday, actually at LA Mission College, and they had a lot of stakeholders in that board meeting, and more than half of them were not even from education, right? And if you want to summarize the whole meeting, right, what was the takeaway? What was the takeaway lesson from the meeting? Basically this, that we have to raise awareness for biotech careers, because the problem is no matter what you do as a teacher in your classroom, if the student doesn't know what the biotech careers are, right, all they are going to think about is going into patient care or basically nursing or medical degrees or, or of course non-scientific careers. If they don't like your classes or science classes, right, they're going to say that's not for me, I want a non-scientific career, right? And so we really have to raise awareness among all stakeholders, including the parents, by the way, right? And so, so one of the things that Joe referred to are all these other, the certificates, the different certificate programs, the dual enrollment. We have also career technical education pathways that should focus on career exploration. Anybody here is a career technical pathway credential? Yeah, okay. You don't teach, but you should, because they're looking. We had a teacher at the Saturday meeting 2 weeks ago, and he was desperately looking. Patrick Kelly, maybe you should, he's desperately looking. He has a ton of funding, and he's desperately looking for teachers who are credentialed in career technical education.
Linda Crosso is credentialed.
And yeah, and then of course equity and inclusion is a big focus, as I mentioned before. Again, not just to reach students who are in underserved or under-resourced community, but also to overcome these historical patterns, of exclusion that have been very common in certain groups, where the students never considered going into STEM, let alone biotech, right? So, all right. And so these are some other numbers. We have a community of practice, by the way, in, that allows faculty to collaborate over these degrees and programs. And we are involved, of course, because of the training we provide to high school teachers. This is about the bioscience training project, similar to the project or the initiative that Dr. Wu mentioned in Orange County. That allows the Pasadena Biotech Collaborative to collaborate with the community colleges in the greater LA area. And what they are trying to do now is to kind of streamline this process, right? So that the colleges then can become fully fledged training centers that actually graduate students that can get employed upon graduation, right? So if you remember, I mentioned that I worked with a workforce development program. So the way we measured our success rate was by measuring how many students got hired upon graduation from that program, right? And my experience has been that a lot of the adult learners that come to us have bachelor degrees, right? In microbiology, in biotechnology sometimes, in biology, and they are completely unemployable because they get these bachelor degrees that don't actually prepare them for jobs, right? So they're not really considered skilled talents. And so they come and they do a 6-week training with us, and then boom, all of a sudden, you know, they have employability skills and they can be hired. And of course, during those, you know, in that kind of training, these programs focus on, and our program focused on soft skills and employability skills. You know, the resume writing, the networking, cover letters, you know, all these things to make the students employable. I won't have time to go over this, but I just want to show you because this will be available too on the Google Drive. If you want to do like a little spiel about biotech careers and you want an introduction, I included some slides here that you can use with the students, even if they have not yet done any of our labs, you know. So that was the purpose of me uploading these slides. So that gives you an overview of what biotechnology is about. It gives you an overview of what the industry consists of. So these are basically the industry sectors, so to speak. The slide is incomplete. I can tell you right now, it's missing digital health and biomedical devices. I couldn't find a nice one that has all of them in one. Maybe you will be able to. And as Dr. Wu mentioned, the biomedical device industry is very concentrated in Orange County and San Diego, a little bit less in LA. We also have the digital health sector that became very popular during the pandemic because of the telehealth, but they also make these wearable devices and you know, that can measure your insulin levels and so on, and can help you, can inject things in the body. And of course, this slide here pertains to the pandemic. So if you want to establish a real-world connection to the pandemic, you can, you know, talk to them about the three sector or divisions in the medical biotechnology sector, where we have the diagnostic tests, we have the treatments, and then we have the prevention through vaccines. So, you know, this is just something that you could use. One of the very important things I think that we need to point out to students is that the careers are multidisciplinary, so you don't have to love biology only, right? You can have a chemistry background, you can have a physics background, you can be even in engineering, in nanotechnology, in artificial intelligence, because all these disciplines merge when it comes to biotechnology. So you can see, for example, for the biomedical device industry, you can see all the disciplines that you know, merge. So it's a very multidisciplinary career option. These are just very basic slides. Again, if you have lower level students, or if you want to warm up the students before doing the genetic engineering series, you can show them, you know, these slides to just warm them up to what biotechnology makes, what problems it solves, and what careers it has, or at least what disciplines it has. And then, of course, please do not forget that there are biotech non-scientific careers, and actually people with these backgrounds sometimes make a ton of money. So if you look, for example, at patent law, you have to have a law degree, but of course, if you're going to be a patent lawyer in biotech, they prefer that you also have a biotech background, or you know, at least a biology background, right? So there are also these non-scientific careers that are also in demand. People who are very detail-oriented may want to be in regulatory affairs, and so on. So, you know, you have that there. And then how can you advise your students? Because you may not have a counselor on site that knows about biotech or biotech careers. So actually that's my next vision, is how do we raise awareness among high school and college counselors, right? Because I think most counselors are probably in the same boat like the general public, right? When students go to them, they probably know most about patient care and medical careers, and they may not know that much about biotech. So, you can, there are all these, things mentioned here, but maybe one of the things to point out is the importance of job shadowing and internships. We have a lot of links on our website that I will show you in a minute that help students find internships. My daughter has been doing a lot of research now to find internships, so it takes a lot of work, right? But of course, God forbid she would go into biology. She went into economics because I'm in biology, right? So, anyways, and then soft skills are very important, and students get asked about them, in interviews, so it can make or break a deal for a student, right? So these are the soft skills we all know as educators, but then some other soft skills became very important, especially during the pandemic, and so, an emotional intelligence actually is one of them. So is artificial intelligence, and being adaptable, being able to adapt, to new technologies, new ways of doing things, and adaptive thinking. I put an emotional intelligence quiz here that you could take and share with your students. And of course, you may be in a school system that has CEL, the Social Emotional Learning Alliance. Are you, yeah? Yeah, so I'm very familiar with CEL because of my work as an anti-bias education facilitator. So we get a lot of teachers and administrators who are funded, to incorporate CEL. And it's a great idea. I wish I had that when I was a teacher. So I come from, when I was a high school teacher, we were very focused on punitive action, right? How do you punish the students, and what do you do with them, right? When they get punished, how do you expel them, and so on. So it was a very punitive system. We didn't have any of these things that you have now. But anyhow, that's a different story. So soft skills are power skills. And then, of course, how do you prepare students for a biotech career? We have the formal education, technical skills and experience, and then the soft skills, And so, I'm not going to address that because you know that already, but there is this comprehensive platform through Innovate Bio where students can actually click on any one of these active links. I have like a lesson plan, a student activity that walks them through how they can explore these different areas that are mentioned here through this platform. And this way they can learn about a lot of things. So they can learn about the biotech industry as a whole. They can learn about the business areas within biotech. They can learn about the different career opportunities in each business area or in each sector. They also can learn about the education required for each job or each career, what the starting salary is, what the potential for increase or promotion is, and so on. So it's almost like an intensive course in biotech career exploration. And there are many ways to do it, so I have this activity that has a few suggestions. It's in the general folder. There is also what they do, which is very neat, is they have, if you click on this link, you can either go into the interactive map or the data table. So you have two views, and when you do that, you can look up companies by geographic area. But you can also look up, and you're going to see that the highest number of biotech, by the way, is in California, Massachusetts, and Texas. But you can also look up companies by business area. So you can, for example, click on cancer or COVID or immunotherapy or, I don't know, probably not regenerative medicine, but stem cells or, So you can click by business area and look at the companies and where they are located and who these companies are. And then once you have the company, by the way, that you're interested in or the business area, you can then go to the company website itself and look at their job board. So it's a very powerful database. As I say, I'm going to organize a workshop on that. I'm just giving you a flavor of this because you are veteran teachers and you're familiar with this already. So I thought, since the presentation is available online, you might want to, use some of these things. This is the Innovate Bio. It's the National Biotechnology Center. It shows you a little bit what it features. I don't know what happened to the slide, why it's on the bottom. It wasn't like that before. I need to fix that. And then you can, you can also click, this link here will allow you to look up education pathways by the type of degree they offer or the credential they offer, whether it's a certificate, 1 year, 2 year, bachelor or beyond. You can also look them up by location, by state or location, geographic location. So it's a very powerful tool. And we have a wealth of information on our website. Dr. Wu already mentioned it on one of her slides. That would be this link here. On the ABE-LA website, it would be under careers. And one of the things that Dr. Wu uploaded is grant writing resources, and she will also be giving a webinar about grant writing. And you can also, we uploaded some of the biotech economic reports and workforce reports. So, yeah.
Can I also mention, so there is some paid internship programs for high school students throughout the country, but I haven't updated since COVID, so just to let you know, you can look at it and then do some searches from there. But yeah, I definitely, I did create this a long time ago to get people to be interested. So yeah, try to use as much as you can with your students. And I'll just volunteer because I'm now officially retired. But like last week I went to San Diego and held mock interviews with the high school's biotech program so that the students could practice doing mock interviews before their real job interviews. And I do resume workshops as well. So if you really, but it might be through Zoom, if that's okay, since I'm going to be in San Diego. Yeah. So I know we had a lot of Zoom training during COVID, and as a teacher, it was very tiresome sometimes. But if for some of these grant writing webinars or the CAR-T therapy, whatever, would you be willing to go to Zoom webinars, or do you guys prefer in person? So let's do Zoom webinars is okay. How many of you would be willing to do that? Okay. And then so who insists on in person? Okay, so Zoom is okay? All right, good. Then look, I think it's easier for all of us, right, in terms of commuting and whatever. So if you are willing to do that.
Especially for that subject matter. I mean, I'm not a fan of Zoom at all. I prefer in person a million times over Zoom. But for certain things, it's easier to do over Zoom for sure. So it's just grant writing. I think that would be easier because of your schedules. All right, so I wanted to show you the folder. I don't even know how am I going to do that. So you all know, how do we get to the
We'll send them the links.
The links,
Yeah,
okay.
let's do that.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, easier.
All right.
So sorry, thank you. All right, so I think we're ready, right,
Yes,
for donations?
Okay, so thank you so much for coming. I hope this was a review of how to order and how to contact your kit coordinators. So we do have some things to give away, and if you are a school that already has equipment and you like using the FC extensions of the Dog Drool CSI and the Kitten Paternity, we made some extras to give you. So there's I think 500 microliters. Okay, so it should be enough for 100 uses, right? So you will need to do the aliquoting for your student groups, but anyway. Okay, so I gave it to some people. Sophia, did I give you? Okay. Is there anybody else that has their own equipment that needs one? Okay. Do you not have enough? Do we have more? So you have to have your own equipment, and then. Do we have more?
In the back, I can go.
Oh, she's in the back. Thank you. Okay. And Hui, you never got one after all these years? What? Okay. Gladys, do you have one for Hui? Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Gladys.
Then the other, So we're not really doing raffle, I'm kind of giving to as many people as we can. But, so these are the practice resin. So again, if you have your own pipettes and you want to practice doing this, how many do we have? 3? That's all.
One for Yvonne and Mary.
Okay, Mary, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Mary was set aside. Okay, so that one's for Mary. All right, so how much? Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna have to play rock, paper, scissors or something. Okay, but I only have 3. Do we have more later?
I think I have 2 more. Let me go check.
Oh, if we have 2 more, then everybody would get one. Okay.
Is Yvonne? Medina?
No, she's not here. So give it to Sergio first, because I know for sure he has. Wait, Sylvia, you never got one?
I never got one. I can always come back.
You can always come back. Okay, all right. Can we give it to those, the 3 there? Okay. Here,
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it.
All right, so who's the last one that wants one but didn't get one? Sylvia, and who's the last one? Dinah, why you're gonna get lots of other stuff, so okay. We'll come back to you another time. Okay, grand prize. Microplay art? Okay, who's gonna be really good this year? All right, anyway, this is a microplay art. So really it's just the design cards already laminated for you and then a couple of color dies. But we actually got, Kristen Cruz that was here, she gave us, her brother works for a biotech company and I think he brought over 700 plates. So everyone should get a whole, take the microplate plates that you want today, right? Okay, so this one is the one, do you have one? Do you have one of these?
Not the full set.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to her because she traveled the farthest, okay?
Gas is expensive. Well deserved.
You gave me some of them.
All right, who else traveled more than 1 hour today? Okay.
I left it about 5:45.
All right, who's the most experienced in terms of teaching? How many years? I have 33. Okay, all right, who's the youngest of the teachers here? Who just recently graduated? Youngest.
I wish.
Who wants the microplay art set? That's already pre-made. Okay, so
Who's
pass that
been
one to
teaching
you.
5 years or less? We can do it this way.
Okay, anybody, I have one more. Okay, all right, so those are the things that we really.
Nobody else in your area?
Further than me is Ridgecrest.
No, but like no one from your bar today.
Oh, came today?
So did they